Today, we dive into the intricate web of India's economic condition. Let's start with an in-depth analysis of the current scenario. India's chief economic advisor states that even though the company's profits have increased, they are not able to pay their employees. People's expenses have reduced because of inflation. Economists have agreed that the dream of developed India remains just a dream. The government can reduce petrol rates, income tax rates, and GST levels to boost the economy of India. Instead, they have launched a new scheme to add more GST and tax rates. Car dealerships are offering discounts and reductions in costs all across the country. Toothpastes and soaps cannot find buyers in the markets. Why? Simple, no money to spend. India's GDP for the second quarter was termed as 5.4%, which is 1.3% less compared to the previous quarter. Lowest since 2022. Think, where is India leading to? What is the government even doing? Let's understand the economic condition of India and how the government is failing us. GDP is the total value of GST produced for a time period. It is basically calculated by four parts, namely private expenditure, which is individual citizens' expenditure, net exports and other government spendings, and investments, both public and private. By the numbers, you can clearly see that the largest part of the country's GDP is private consumption. But the worst part is, the sector is not growing. For instance, let us take the example of automobiles. After 2020, car dealerships have offered hefty discounts. Why though? Simple, cars are not selling? Why? People have no money to spend. It has been reported that 77,000 crore worth of cars are not selling. Why? No demand, precisely no money. Isn't this quite alarming? About 60% of the country's economy is dependent on private consumption. If this does not grow, then how will our condition get better? But why isn't it growing? Two reasons. Inflation. Let's take food, for instance. The cost of vegetables has increased 42.2% in the last 5 years. This is directly dependent on private consumption because about 50% of the household's cost is spent on food. Wages. It is accounted that for the last 6 years, the salary for the employees remained the same. In fact, as mentioned earlier, India's chief economist advisor stated that the profits of the companies are quite good, but they are unable to pay the employees. This creates a negative cycle. So if these two factors don't grow, then expecting India's economy to grow is quite a joke. Many experts argue that expecting India's economy to grow is a joke on yourself. Really? It is high time we accept that the government is not doing anything to improve our conditions, but is rather squeezing us from all walks of life. It is high time for a reality check. Accepting this, let us also accept that PM Modi's dream of developing India by 2047 is a dream in itself. By this, we did get a reality check of India's true potential. Now solving this or continuing this is in the hands of the nation. Goods and services tax, when introduced, was meant to reduce confusion on various taxes, giving a clear view to the taxpayers. Goods and services tax was famously called good and simple tax, but this statement here is truly a false one when we look at our country's state. Instead of tackling these obstacles, our finance minister is telling us that Indian companies aren't investing. Why have the petrol and diesel rates not reduced, even though the government companies are making a hefty profit? Why have the GST rates not gone down when the GST compensation is flooding the fund? Why is there no disinvestment when only 6% of the target is achieved? PM Modi's advancedly planned proposals for the next 100 days after election, as he suggested, is not seeming to be on play. The major point is, political parties can wait, but my country's growth cannot wait till next election.